Finally, you want to tell a rogue ambassador, leave Kenyans alone.
Kenyans are now calling for the immediate recall and resignation and return to the divided states of Meg Whitman. Fingers are being pointed at her as the reason why Kenya is in this financial mess.
What's up, YouTube family? You all know what has been happening in Kenya. Kenyans have been putting the government of the day accountable on issues of governmentship. And right now, Kenyans are calling for the immediate recall, for the immediate resignation of the ambassador to the US here in Kenya, Meg. And Kenyans are pushing this highly because they blame her for the issues happening in our country right now. They say that the ambassador brought IMF and the World Bank into our country, and right now the finance bill issues and all these issues that are affecting Kenyans economically came from the ambassador trying to bring back the IMF into the country. And so Kenyans have been putting the government of the day accountable from different departments, and right now they have decided that it's the end of the US ambassador in the country. They say that the US ambassador should leave immediately because they do not want her in Kenya. So let's listen and watch this video.
Kenyans are now calling for the immediate recall and resignation and return to the divided states of Meg Whitman. Fingers are being pointed at her as the reason why Kenya is in this financial mess to begin with. Because she's even the one who actually made Biden take such a risky risk, that doesn't even make sense, on Nabi family. She's the reason that the IMF and the World Bank even came back to Kenya. And there's a show that I released, Jana, from this guy, this analyst, who was saying that whenever the IMF comes into a country, they're not giving you a loan so you can pay back so with a clean heart. They're giving you a loan. They never want that money back because they're the front for these multinational corporations. And we already know the world is being run by a multinational corporation. So he was saying we should check the Coca-Colas and the HPs of this world. Well, guess what? Maggie Dearest used to actually be like, I think, the head of Hewlett Packard, and she's a dollar billionaire. So you think her being in Kenya was really about us? Or was it to further the agenda of the Mzungus in Kenya? So guys are just saying, without her, we'd not be in these problems. We'd not be in this crazy debt burden. And don't forget, last year, Mandamano, she was heavily interfering. And there's even a clip that I'll share at the end of this, where Baba, and I know he's not very popular right now, where Baba was saying, yo, stay out of Kenya. Kenya is not a US colony. Kenya is not part of the United States. We're not a US company. So keep your fingers, dirty hands off. And now Kenyans are like, yo, she needs to go. I think she was already airlifted out. I don't know if she ever came back. And the funny thing is, after all this, ever since the cabinet was fired, now all of a sudden, the divided states is issuing advisories to, I don't know if it was to their citizens or to the general or to the world or whatever, about Gen Z demonstrations in Kenya. Maggie's the problem. She needs to go. And you know what, family? I knew the rubber was hitting the road when she stood in the middle of the red carpet and Nabi held her umbrella. I'll add that to the end of this video as well. I think she got carried away, yo. I think she got carried away. She was like, oh my God, I think neo-colonialism just got to her head. But yo, it's time for her to get recalled.
Family, you notice she was airlifted after she saw that the demonstrations have started working in Kenya, after she saw that the president of my country had to remove all his cabinet members from his cabinet and just kick them out. And Maggie saw that it's time that she runs away from Kenya because she does not know what is coming next. So there's been this trend in Kenya where when a public servant does something wrong, Kenyans do take their numbers, call them, and just tell them to stop doing that. They also threaten you and tell you that they are your masters, that you're just but their servant. You should represent them in this level. So we think that Maggie was afraid that the time was coming that Kenyans were coming for him. Imagine all the numbers of members of parliament, all the numbers of the executive, including the president, was online, and anybody could call them and tell them that they must listen to us. And the next thing that Kenyans were trying to push is the vote that is in the in the American embassy in Kenya, where people apply for this visa to go to America for different purposes, and they are denied these visas. And people were tired and said, yo, what we will do next is go for the ambassador to Kenya and just ensure that she goes outside of our country because she's not helping us. You know, many times they eat our money in that embassy. Many times they actually do not refund money. And out of 10 Kenyans, only 2 can get their visas accepted to go to the US, while they continue eating our money time and again that we pay for the visa applications, man. Kenyans are telling the ambassador that they should come up with policies that will lead to Kenyans being returned part of the money, rather the full amount, because they are not traveling to the US. They are making it hard for Kenyans to travel to the US, and at the same time they are making it easy for Americans to come to Kenya. So this just made Kenyans pissed off, and Kenyans also blamed her for the IMF thing, and you know, the cost of living right now in the country, and they're going demos, and she was airlifted outside of the country because she knew good well that Kenyans were coming for her, and that was going to happen because you just come to our country and want to control us. There's a video surfacing from a while ago when the president of Kenya carried an umbrella for her, you know, just treating her like a queen, because the president knows the interests that this lady is pushing for her in the higher place in the government, because this lady has a special mission in Kenya. There is something we do not know. This is a rogue ambassador here in Kenya. And the other thing that I feel that is off is that her being airlifted in this timing and telling Americans that, the Gen Zs have taken over Kenya. It's time they leave. Lots of Americans were at the airport the other day trying to move back to their country because of these demonstrations. But it was clear that all we wanted is for the government of the day to listen to us. Why was Meg pushing for wrong analogies? So let us watch this video of the Kenyan president carrying an umbrella for Meg, because the Kenyan president knows well how much Meg is helping her in the top level. And you notice Kenya has started slowly developing to be a puppet of the USA under our president, because the other day our police officers were transferred to Haiti, and we saw some of our officers guarding the American embassy in Haiti. What does that tell you, yo? What does that even tell you? Kenyans are puppets of the US government. That is clear. That is very clear, according to what is happening right now. How do Kenyans go to Haiti and guard the American embassy in Haiti? That does not make sense, yo. Let's watch this.
Maombi tu, nina furaha mjue, mi kila siku najituma tusilali, namuomba yeye tu.
That's my president, the Kenyan president, carrying the umbrella for Meg.
Finally, you want to tell a rogue ambassador, leave Kenyans alone. If Mandamano can lead to a dialogue between Ichungwa and Kalonzo, everything is good with Mandamano. Tell the rogue ambassador, Kenya is not United States. Kenya is not a colony of the United States. Keep your mouth shut when you're here. Otherwise, you will call for your recall back to your country. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Family, you hear that right there. Kenya is not a colony of the United States. Kenya is an independent nation. We do not care the interests of our leaders. We do not care the agendas that they are pushing on the top level. What is clear to us and what we know as Kenyans, what we know as the Gen Zs, is that Kenya is our country, and we will not accept, we will not be intimidated. We do not want for foreign ideologies, for foreign agendas to be pushed in our country. That's why Kenyans are slowly calling for the resignation, for the recall, for the ambassador of the US to Kenya to leave Kenya with immediate effect, and other representatives to be chosen to just make it easy for Kenyans to move outside of Kenya to the USA and back, and also to push for the ideologies of Kenyans too, because you cannot come to our country and want to dictate us. We are not the colony of the US. It is this is the 21st century, and all we want right now is for a stand as a people. Thank you guys for watching this video. Kindly do consider subscribing to my channel for amazing black stories in Africa and in the diaspora. You can also subscribe, man. Subscribe, like this video, share your comment down below so that we all can learn together, get to know what different people think about this topic. So guys, thank you so much. See you all in the next video. We are on the road to 11K subscribers. Let's push it, y'all. Thank you so much. Bye bye.